Please remain seated for our centering hymn, number 155, Circle Round for Freedom. Our second reading is an excerpt from Dreaming Accountability by Mia Mingus, who is a writer, educator, and trainer for transformative justice and disability justice. She is a queer, physically disabled, Korean, transracial, and transnational adoptee raised in the Caribbean. What if accountability wasn't scary? It will never be easy or comfortable, but what if it wasn't scary? What if our own accountability wasn't something we ran from, but something we ran toward and desired, appreciated, held as sacred? What if we cherished opportunities to take accountability as precious opportunities to practice liberation, to practice love, to practice the kinds of people, elders to be, and souls we want to be? To practice that which we can only practice in real time. After all, we can only practice courage when we are afraid. We can only practice taking accountability when we have wronged or harmed or hurt. Practice yields the sharpest analysis. What if we spent more time practicing accountability, not just talking about it? So often we want other people to be accountable, but what if we practiced our own accountability more? What if we started with the small things and built up our skills for the big things? What if we remembered that addressing the small things between us helps us to prevent the big things? What if we talked with each other about the things that we're trying to be more accountable for? What if we built relationships where we could have nuanced conversations about accountability, shame, fear, guilt, embarrassment, insecurity, trauma, and healing? What if we cherished opportunities to take accountability as precious opportunities to practice liberation, to practice love?
Every service, when we come together, we have an opportunity to share the blessings we have received in our lives with our community. Our offering supports our work and outreach as a growing and powerful community that refuses to be silenced. We find strength in our collective action and shared purpose, knowing that we are not alone. We are nurtured by our common capital, empathy, actions, and hope. Here we practice the small acts of showing up, talking to one another, contributing our gifts, financial and otherwise, and committing to build a better future together. Thank you for giving generously to sustain this community as it meets the challenges of this time in history. You can submit your offering electronically via the link in the chat or mail it to All Souls Church at the address provided.
All our lives we are in need, and others are in need of us. These words from our earlier responsive reading by George Odell feel like a concise summary of what I believe about the world and the universe. No matter what, throughout our lives, we need others, and others need us. We are all connected in ways we realize and don't. And because of that, we do this together. This being life, justice, liberation, anything that we want to do. Everything worthwhile is done with other people, as Mariama Kaba says. Kaba is an educator, organizer, and prison abolitionist who has started and worked with many, many organizations and campaigns fighting for justice and freedom in this world. Fighting youth incarceration, freeing incarcerated women, securing reparations for victims of police violence. The list goes on. As author and sociologist Eve Ewing says, each of Kaba's many projects offers teachable, replicable, participatory models for liberation. Her work is always collaborative and invites others into the process of working together for liberation. Reflecting on what led her down this path, Kaba remembers learning from her father as a child that you are interconnected to everyone, because the world doesn't work without everyone. She has taken that to heart, building it into the work she has done throughout her life. She talks about how individual self-reflection is important, and then we need to continue it, to test it out in the world, to be with other people and try it all in action, learn what works and what doesn't, and try again. Kaba doesn't sugarcoat all of this. She does not pretend that working alongside other people is always easy and fun. She has talked many times, and I think it's only partly a joke, about how actually she hates people. She's antisocial, she does not want to be around other people, and yet she does it anyway. And why does she do this, even when it's heartbreaking and exhausting, even when it means she is spending all of her time with other people? Because, she says, I'm a deeply, profoundly hopeful person. Because I know that human beings, with all of our foibles and all the things that are failing, have the capacity to do amazingly beautiful things too. That gives me hope to feel like we will, when necessary, do what we need to do. We have the capacity to do amazingly beautiful things. When necessary, we will do what we need to do. There was a post making its rounds on the media site Tumblr. It's by a user who used the username, "My Lord, She's a Cactus," which I just find delightful. And it tells the story of a ship called Carpathia. And it is quite a story. I first read this years ago, and it has stuck with me for quite some time. On April 15th, 1912, in the middle of the night, as you may know, the Titanic struck an iceberg, and it began to sink. It sent out a distress signal, which was received by the Carpathia, at this point almost 60 miles away, at top speed. That would take them about 4 hours to cover. Carpathia's Captain Rostron was woken up by his radio operator who got this distress signal, and he sprang into action. He called for all sorts of preparation to be done to make things as smooth as possible when they did finally reach the Titanic. The lifeboats were ready to be deployed. Oil was ready to be poured over the side of the ship. That calms the choppy seas and lets lifeboats pull up alongside. Lights were rigged to the sides of the ship to make it easier to see. Nets and ladders were ready to be dropped off the side to let as many people as possible climb aboard at the same time. The ship's 3 dining rooms were turned into triage and first aid stations. Each had a doctor, bulk amounts of hot soup and coffee and tea, tons of blankets and warm clothes to be handed out, many of which came from Carpathia's own passengers. Every engineer and fire stoker was put to work. Hot water and central heat was turned off to most of the ship, except those dining rooms, in order for as much steam as possible to be directed at the engines. Literally, they were going to go full steam ahead. The author of this post says, "Carpathia's absolute do or die, the engines can't take this forever, top speed was 14 knots. Dodging icebergs in the dark and the cold, surrounded by mist, she sustained a speed of almost 17 and a half. This ship and her crew received a message from a location that they could not hope to reach in under 4 hours. And just barely over 3 hours later, they arrived at the Titanic's last known coordinates." Carpathia arrived at the site of the Titanic about an hour and a half after it had fully sank, 30 minutes faster than it should have been able to get there. For hours, they did search and rescue, in the end pulling aboard 705 of the Titanic's passengers, the only survivors of the original 2,208 passengers. And this is one of the parts that has stuck with me the most. In a follow-up post, the author mentioned something that really is true that I hadn't thought of. At the end of the day, the Carpathia failed. They didn't arrive before the Titanic sank, and they did not save the ship. They only got 1/3 of the passengers on board. And still, can you imagine what that effort meant to those 705 people and their families and their loved ones? Who knows what would have happened to those people if the Carpathia hadn't undertaken this foolish and impossible task? Captain Rostron, his crew, and his passengers knew that they were inextricably linked to those on the Titanic, and they went full steam ahead to do whatever they could. It matters that they tried, the author writes. This is such an amazing story to me, a group of people giving everything they possibly could, more than anyone might reasonably expect of them, with the faintest hope of making some sort of difference, no matter how small. This is what it means to me when I say that we do this together. that we know how interconnected we are, and that it matters that we care about other people and work to support them, even when it is hard and disheartening, and we are pretty sure we are going to fail. And it means that we hold each other when it's hard and disheartening and we think we will probably fail, and that when we do fail, as individuals in a group, we keep holding each other. Sometimes, beloveds, we fall short. We don't live into our values maybe as well as we could. We make mistakes, we hurt others. That's what happens when we strive for a liberation that does not yet exist in this world. It is difficult, and we are going to mess up. In our earlier reading, Mia Mingus says, what if we cherished opportunities to take accountability as precious opportunities to practice liberation? What if we remembered that addressing the small things between us helps prevent the big things? Accountability can be scary. Mingus asks us to imagine what if it wasn't, just because it is so much of the time. Being able to say, I was wrong, I'm sorry, can you help me know how to make it right? That is scary. But it's also part of what it means to be in community, part of what it means to be in covenant and right relationship, part of working for justice and liberation and for a world that we know is possible. The status quo, the way things are, it does not want you to apologize, does not want you to think about how you might have hurt someone and work to make it better and build deeper relationships. The way it is and the powers that be want you to move on, to stay disconnected and isolated. And to that I say no. We are Unitarian Universalists. We come together in covenant again and again, even when we have made mistakes or done something wrong. We come together with love and with grace for each other. We figure out what happened, we do the repair, and we try again and again and again. We are in the middle of deeply hard times in our personal lives, in our communities, in the world. And as the author of that Tumblr post wrote, it is hard to feel anything but useless when all you can do is tap a wireless transmitter and promise help that you know will come too late. It is okay, it is more than okay to sit with those feelings, to notice what feels hard, to mourn and rage and cry. We come together to hold those feelings. And among all of that, we remind ourselves and each other, we do this together. We do this together by holding space for one another to mourn and rage and cry and celebrate and laugh. This is why we share our joys and sorrows with one another. We do this together by finding those moments when we go full steam ahead, even if we're not sure we're going to make it on time, because it is important for us to try to get there. We do this together by ensuring it's not always the same people who have to go full steam ahead every time. We do this together by remembering that we are capable of making change from the tiny to the large together. It can often feel like there is nothing we can do to make any difference in everything that is happening around us. But that doesn't mean we don't keep doing the work, fighting the fight, working together to bring about the world that we know deep in our hearts is possible. So, beloveds, full steam ahead. We do this together. May it be so, and amen. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit for our closing hymn, number 1018, Come and Go With Me. Remember this, beloveds, everything we do together. As you go into the world, as you live your life, may you feel the collective power that surrounds and supports you in everything you do. Go in peace. And we extinguish our flame with these words. Though we extinguish this flame, we carry with us the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment, now held within our hearts until we meet again.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Reverend Aisha. There's a lot of gratitude for that message. It's really needed right now. So secondly, we acknowledge that the efforts of many people have come together to create today's service. Our music director, our choir members, the tech team, our service associate, rusher and greeter, coffee hour organizers, Sunday service committee members, the person who makes sure the candles are both lit and extinguished. It's a very important job. All of you who are participants in person or online. If you'd like to take a more active role in helping to create or support our Sunday services, please reach out to Sarah Elstrom, who's behind the camera or computer over there. Upcoming events. Decorating for Dickens will happen today after we're done here with coffee hour. And there's decorating that still needs to be done. Connection Circle meets this Wednesday on Zoom from 2:30 to 4 o'clock. The Board of Trustees meets this Wednesday at 6:30 on Zoom. You want to tune in your radios because Jean Ward and I are going to be welcoming Father Christmas at WATD FM radio at 7:40 on Thursday in the morning. And pie baking is happening that very same day later on, beginning at 9:30. You can come for a few hours or for the day, and all your help would be appreciated. Please, if you're coming, park on the street just to make sure that there's enough, because of Magic Years is in session on that day. If you're able, we are appreciative, but we're grateful for any contributions you might make to our pie making supplies and the purchase of lottery tickets. The more ingredients we can buy, the more pies we can bake. Setting up for Dickens on the 21st. So we're going to Friday now, and we'll be setting up, getting ready, welcoming the artisans who choose to set up from 5 to 9 p.m. And this is a time for you to drop off your baked items, and the bake table people will be prepping. The raffle table will be set up. The parish hall will be set up. So all of those exciting things are going to be happening on Friday night between 5 and 9. And then the festival, of course, is happening on Saturday. The artisans will be checking in between 8 and 10. We'll be making coffee for the workers and the artisans. The raffle prizes will be drawn at 2:30. And we'll be breaking down after that event, not emotionally, but physically. And after the doors close at 3. So, if you can stay longer, your additional help will be useful after the doors actually close. And then also, I'm excited that we're going to be working with the group that's collecting coats for people. Lynn Steiner is steering that effort. There's a box now in the foyer out here for you to bring gently used or new coats and jackets for both children and adults. And we'll be collecting from now until January 10th. And if you have any questions, see Lynn. And 5 Points Cluster has a calendar that you can check in to see if there are events that you might want to participate in other churches within the 8 churches that that comprise the cluster. I think that link is in the chimes this month, so you can check that out. And if you are attending on Zoom, please stay online for a virtual social hour. If you're here in the building, please join us in the parish hall for refreshments, or you can speak with the people who are on Zoom. If you log onto Zoom on your own telephone, you can say hi to them at that point. And if you don't know the link, it's right on the you can go to the All Souls website and just click on that link. With that all said, thank you for sharing this time together. May you leave here in peace, find peace on your journey, and offer peace to others. Thank you all.